George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people that we feel good about. Well, on May 23rd, which is a special day for me in a lot of ways, but it's also special for the NAACP. It's my anniversary, but it's also the annual Freedom Fund dinner for the Syracuse Onondaga County chapter of the NAACP. And here to talk about it is Gwen Muok. She is the president of the Syracuse Onondaga County chapter of the NAACP. And we have two outstanding award recipients, which we'll learn about in just a little bit, Nancy Kern Eaton and Millie McDade Woods. Nancy has a title. We'll get to that in just a few moments. But first, Gwen, good to see you.
Good to see you, George, and thank you very much for inviting us.
You know, you're always welcome here at Inspiration for the Nation to promote the great work of the Syracuse Onondaga County NAACP. All right, Gwen, so let's get cooking. What do we have going on May 23rd?
On May 23rd, George, we're having our 44th annual Freedom Fund Award Dinner celebration. It's at the On Center. It begins at 5 o'clock. And believe it or not, our keynote speaker this year is none other than Martin Luther King III.
Wow, that's great.
We are excited. We are excited.
That is exciting. And I know that you want the community to come out and so what do we expect to see that night? What happens that night?
Well, what happens that night, first of all, our theme is bridging generations, past, present, and future. So as part of our future, we will have a group of students from MLK School, fifth graders, who back in January did some research and presented their research papers on what MLK means to me. So those students have been invited to come out, and they will actually get to have one-on-one time with MLK III. And wow. Then they will get to enjoy the dinner. We have sponsors who are buying tickets for the students, and they will enjoy the festivities along with everybody else. We're excited.
And this obviously is a fundraiser to help the NAACP do its work in the community. How does this support the work of the NAACP?
Well, George, what this does, we work in the community in health, environmental justice, civic engagement, education, and this helps us to provide those programs to the community. This is our major fundraiser of the year.
And we should also indicate that the NAACP is an all-volunteer organization.
Yes, we are. We are all volunteers. Nobody's paid on the staff. We all donate our time, and we're all committed to the cause.
And part of the significance of this event on that night is the awards that are given out to outstanding citizens who made a contribution during the cycle. And blessedly, we have two of those recipients here. Gwen, why don't you tell us about each of them, and then we'll hear from them directly.
Okay, first of all, our Harriet Tubman Freedom Award is going to the United Way of Central New York. We just felt it was time that we acknowledge them for all of the tremendous work that they do in the Syracuse Onondaga community. And secondly, with us today, we have Millie McDade Woods, who is receiving the Mary McLeod Bethune Education Award. And Millie has worked in this community for many, many, many years, and she will tell you all about it.
Yeah, well, let's start with you, Millie. And good to see you, Millie McDade Woods.
What, George? We go back a long way, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I must share with the audience that I was a student at Syracuse University when I first met Millie and the family and her sons and of course Joe, who served with me. He didn't serve with me. Joe, as an educator as well, worked with me in the mayor's office downtown. So very connected to this family.
Right.
So tell us about what this award means to you, the Mary McLeod Bethune Educator Award.
Well, George, let me say this is my 5th award, and I feel humbly honored. However, this began with me, George, when I'm from a long line of educators. We are 5th generation college graduates in my family. As a matter of fact, the last one right now is a graduate of Morehouse College and who is headed to school to be an orthopedic surgeon. So what I knew, George, all I know is, first of all, is empowering others. That it really is my passion and my mission. I grew up in an all-inclusive African-American enclave in the South. We were expected to give back. That was just what I knew, it's just who I am, and that's part of my DNA. So when I came to Syracuse, it's very funny because there are not a Black teachers here. Maybe I might have been the 3rd Black teacher in the district. And I'm going to say something very funny. The first day I walked into the school building, the Black kids ran down the hall and said, "Oh, it's a Negro teacher in the building." Can you imagine that?
I can. There was a lot of things we used to say back in the day. Yeah, understood.
Yeah, it's a Negro teacher, and I have been that teacher ever since. And I feel very humble about giving back to the community. This award, I first met Mary McCall Bethune when I was about 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
She came to my community, and my mother and my aunt, who were college graduates, took me to see her. And I was inspired by the work that she did, and all the people around me nurtured me, Joyce, to do what I do right now. And so this is just normal for me. I just said there's not a day pass that one of my former students does not call or come by. Just before the phone rang here, one of them came by, called. So that, validates the fact that I gave them my best. It was my passion. And the thing of it is, I didn't just work with the students. I get to know the parents in the community. And I think that's what caused me to receive this 5th award, and I feel very humbled that I am living out my family's passion and dream. And this is who we are. And this is what I still do. And I knew, George, when I first had begun to teach, my mother told me, this is a story that inspired me. I graduated college, and my mother, I was all excited, and, about being graduated. And my mother said to me, "Let's go on the front porch and sit on the swing." You have to know about the southern front porches. They all have swings on the porch. My mother said to me, "Now that you graduated, what are you going to do?" And I told her, she said, "Now listen at this. Remember the students that you're going to work with, they have families. There's a community. Get to know the community, get to know the students, get to know the parents, and get to know the community." And that's exactly what I have done throughout my entire career. And when I had gotten back to when I really knew I needed to get involved, I went to the superintendent of schools and I told him I didn't see any Black parents too much involved. And he said to me, "Well, you go back and create something." So I went back and I created a parental program. I created the parent program in the Syracuse School District that goes right now. Then I went back to school and I got a degree, another degree in adult and community education, because I wanted to educate the parents as well.
Yeah.
I ended up teaching a group of adults reading, writing, and spelling. And that's who I am. I can't say anymore other than that's just who I am, and that's my passion. And even I'm retired in name, but not really in my work, because I enjoy empowering people. That is what I do.
And last thing before we get to Nancy and how she feels about getting the Harriet Tubman Freedom Award, which is a big deal, we should say Mary McCloud Bethune is the founder of Bethune-Cookman HBCU, and so in Florida. And so, Millie, you also you have a book, you have a project. Tell me about this book you have, and then we move on to Nancy.
Well, it's my memoir. I live on an island in Georgia, and that island came by because I don't know whether you know Jeff Mangum or not.
Yes.
But Jeff Mangum introduced me to come down to where he lives. So we moved and built a house there, and there was an artist that came by one day. She happened to be white, which is just incidental. And she saw all of these diplomas I had around the wall, but they didn't mean anything to me. It's just my family's legacy. So she said to me, "Do you mind if I call my son-in-law, who writes plays for Morgan Freeman in Hollywood?" And I said, "For whatever it's worth, you can." So she called him, and he interviewed me, and he encouraged me to write my memoir. And the title of it is Sugar Girl. It's just the journey of an African-American family in the South, which is real and imagined and can be replicated today. So that's my memoir, and it has gone really as far as Canada with that, with my story. It's just my story, and I'm encouraging people to do it again. I have a new project going on right now. It's called Recalling, Remembering, and Reinventing Family Values and Traditions. So I'm going back to my mother's hometown, where we have been for about 190 years. I'm going back there to really introduce my book there. So that's what I do.
And we should say the Sea Islands is where you are, down
Yes.
in the Gullah communities and all that. So we just wanted to get that in there. So we can see why you were selected, and long overdue for that. And it's again so good to see you, Millie. Nancy Kern Eaton, you are the president of the United Way, but you are receiving the Harriet Tubman Freedom Award. What is that like for you?
You know, George, when Gwen called to tell me that the United Way was receiving the award, it was hard to know what to say. It's hard to imagine receiving an award from a more meaningful organization with such an important history. Receive the Harriet Tubman Freedom Award. It's really, we are so incredibly grateful. And really, it's an honor. I love the theme. What I think of past, present, and future. You know, our United Way in the Syracuse community began in 1917. When Gwen called to tell me that our United Way was receiving the Harriet Tubman Freedom Award, it was hard to know what to say, because to receive an award from the Syracuse Onondaga NAACP, such an important organization with such an important history, and then to be receiving the Harriet Tubman Freedom Award, we are all incredibly humbled and honored. And I love the theme of this dinner and this celebration, which is past, present, and future, because this United Way in Syracuse began in 1917, when the community came together and recognized that we needed to all think and act together to help people in need in our community. And we feel privileged to have carried on the generations of people in our community who have recognized that if any one of us is not doing well, we as a community are not doing well. And it means so much to us to continue this work, to think about education and what that means. Hearing Millie was really inspiring. Teaching our youngest citizens so they can all be successful. We're honored to do the Book Buddies program in 5 of the city elementary schools, because we want to make sure every single child has an opportunity to live their life the way they want, which means reading and opportunity. We're looking at workforce development and making sure people in our community who've been historically excluded from opportunities have real pathways. So we're proud to have been part of the Pathways to Apprenticeship program to help people of color finally access membership in the construction trade unions. We are the new home of the Lead Safe CNY Coalition, led by LaToya Jones. Again, thinking about how we ensure that people in our community are healthy, they have access to opportunities, and they can thrive.
And Nancy, I wanted to ask you to pause and really give me a little bit more on the Book Buddies program because it's a necessity. And essentially, we need more book buddies. And so I want to give you a pause to amplify that because we have the Syracuse Reads Plus. We're really, really, really trying to emphasize the need to improve literacy in our community, especially for the opportunities that are coming forward. So would you do a little quick recruitment for the Book Buddies program?
I sure will. So we, Lori Black, who's our community education director, is a champion for children and for literacy. So we are partnering with the Syracuse City School District to impact tutoring program where volunteers can come in. We're partnering in 5 schools, as I said, working with kindergartners, working with students, kindergarten through 3rd grade. And what the Book Buddies do is we train them so they know how you help children practice reading. So based on the science of reading, the tutors come in once a week. Kids come twice a week. So children come Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And when you're a book buddy, you have the same children each time. So you develop a relationship, you learn how far they've progressed. And really, we know the data shows that if children are not reading at grade level by 3rd grade, they're going to struggle their entire school career. So these are the most important years when they get to school, but even birth through 5, right? We want to make sure kids are reading. So we're proud to be part of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. But individuals in the community, you don't have to be a teacher. You can do our training, learn how to work with the kids and practice tutoring. I promise it'll be the best hour of the week. So it is, the children love seeing these adults who come in just to be with them. It's during the lunchtime, and really and truly, you see the kids make the progress. The teachers tell us they see the progress. And, Frederick Douglass said, literacy is the key to freedom. So from my perspective, the best gift we can give children is the ability to read, because then they can read to learn.
And let's thread the needle. And by you receiving this Harriet Tubman Freedom Award, you're helping to liberate people's minds so that they can live their best life. So quickly, how do people find out about the Buddy program before we go back to Ben, to Gwen, to help us understand what we all need to do as a community to support this Freedom Fund dinner, of which you and Millie Woods are a recipient of some of the awards?
DNYBookBuddies.org. And you can also find it on our website, unitedway-cny.org.
All right, 2 great award recipients. There are many more, Gwen, but on May 23rd, the Freedom Fund dinner, how do people get tickets? How do people support? Because there's a whole lot of ways you would like people to support this effort.
Absolutely. To get tickets for the event, you can actually go on to Eventbrite, or you can go on to NAACP, Syracuse NAACP.com and get tickets. You can reach out to any of our executive committee members for tickets. We are also looking for sponsorships for the event. We'd like your organization to place an ad. We'd like your organization to purchase a table. All right. Or just make a donation if you can't support it, if you can't come out and attend.
Sounds good. All right. So SyracuseNAACP.com, the annual Freedom Fund Award dinner taking place May 23rd, 2024 at the On Center, with program beginning at 5. We've met 2 of the award recipients, Millie McDade Woods getting the Mary McLeod Bethune Education Award, and of course the United Way of Central New York getting the Harriet Tubman Freedom Award. Just a couple of awards, in the keynote speaker, none other than Martin Luther King III, with a special presentation from the students at the Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, or K-8 school. So with that being said, NAACP, Syracuse, NAACP.com. Let's make this year's dinner the best ever so that the Syracuse NAACP, an all-volunteer organization, can do the work that is necessary in this community, which including liberation, literacy, and justice.
Yes.
Thank you,
All of it.
Gwen. Thank you,
All right.
Nancy. Thank you, Millie. Inspiration for the Nation. May 23rd, mark the date. NAACP Freedom Fund Award Dinner.
Thanks, George, for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Inspiration for the Nation.